Samadhi, the founder and director of Ecstatic Dance Evolution, that is now called Ecstatic Dance Evolution Network, because now we are sharing what we're doing with a network of beautiful people from all around the world, like you. So thanks for joining me here today. Today I just would like to give a little brief who I am and a little bit about my journey to Eden, and we'll find out what is possible for the future of Eden and you. So yeah, I just want to share a little bit about who I am, where I am now, and where we're going in the future. So thanks for joining me. So yeah, I'm at a time in my life where after 17 years now of exploring, deeply exploring all of the realms of ecstatic dance, I've come to a point in time where my soul is just like, this is a new phase for me. This is, I have to share what I'm doing. I have to somehow get these experiences that we have had and created and structured out to the public, because I've noticed it's really become my passion to support, uplift, and encourage the evolution of ecstatic dance on this planet to be the best it can be. And so that's what I'm here doing. So this is our DJ introduction. Yeah, I just want to tell a few stories. I think the most important impression that I ever had at an ecstatic dance was at my very first dance, right? Like, if you can make an impression on your dancers at the first dance, that means every dance, right, has to be amazing. You could change someone's life, and that's what happened to me. So I'm remembering my very first ecstatic dance experience, which was very, very totally out of the box for me, because I had been a professionally trained dancer all of my life, since the age of 4, really. I had danced in dance studios with basic tap, jazz, ballet, acrobatics. By high school, I was in the high school drill team. I also participated in community theater, musical theater, modern dance, contemporary dance, creating choreography. And also I had the family experience of country and western dance, Texas two-step, the jitterbug. I grew up with my dad and mom, swing dancers, and so that was a lot of fun. My brother and I finally branched out to Latin dance and ballroom dance and any kind of dance, I just wanted to try it all. Well, most of it I might add, maybe not all of it, but I love dance. That's what I'm trying to say. I would love dance, but I came from this very structured systems of dance. Like, here's how you do the steps, and here's how you do them right, and here's how you do them wrong. So that's where I was at, and I was also at winding up my sort of 12-year rhythm tap dance career that I had in the Fort Worth and Dallas area. So still being a seeker, a friend of mine invited me to come to a dance in Austin. So I had to drive about 3 hours to get there. So I left very early in the morning to get to the Sunday dance by 10:30 a.m. And I got there and he wasn't there, but I figured we were just going to a dance class. So I went in, I sat down, and tons of people started pouring into this room. This was a huge room. It was probably like 4,000 square feet. It was really big with tall ceilings, beautiful tapestries on the wall. And it had a nice sprung floor, which I love, being a professional dancer. But all these people kept coming in, and someone had turned on the music, and these students were just doing whatever they wanted. They were going crazy, in my opinion. I was like sitting on the side like a good student, doing my little stretches and looking around for the teacher. You know, I was like, oh my God, the teacher's going to be so upset because these students are going crazy. Like, someone put the music on. That was just like, you don't touch the sound system, you know. Anyway, just like my whole brain got cracked that day, and I definitely cracked the matrix. So eventually, though, a group of people came around and were dancing around me, and they offered their hands. I got up, I started dancing with them, and it was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. Yeah, I mean, and that's nothing. I'd never done anything like that before, because I was always, like I said, only choreography, or I'll only dance if I know how to do all the steps. So this was just crazy. Something just opened in me. I'm sure it was, you know, destiny. And this happened for hours and hours and hours. I basically lost track of all time. And I didn't even realize my friend didn't even show up to this whole dance the whole time. But at the end, like, the music winds down, and people started sharing back in the circle. And I just realized, like, my friend never came. Oh my God. And how many hours has it been? What was this? Where am I? And I mean, of course, I didn't say anything because I was just terrified. And but later, I really appreciated the fact that my friend didn't come, and he allowed me to be there by myself and have my own experience. Because otherwise, I know I probably would have just frozen up and been freaked out, you know, right from the start, if I would have been cognizant of what was going on. So, to say the least, that was a very transformative experience for me. And really, I see so many people's lives transform like this, you know, from ecstatic dance. That's why I'm so passionate about sharing this, because I honestly, another reason is I truly owe my life to this dance. This dance really did save my life. I was, you know, I had a pretty decent dance career, but honestly, that whole professional dance world back then, at least I can't vouch for it now, but back then it was very full of criticisms, judgments, comparisons, you know, competition, and you wanting to be the best, or, you know, be better than the best, and always not feeling good enough. You know, that did lead to feelings of low self-esteem, depression. There was, you know, parts of myself that hated myself for some reason. And this was all like stuffed into the background, you know, self-blame, guilt, shame, just because I felt that I couldn't be good enough. You know, it's kind of a sad lifestyle. And unfortunately, a lot of dancers go through that. But I mean, dance is so powerful. You know, it even keeps these people alive, where they're having to face all this horrible criticisms and competition. So luckily, this dance showed me that there was another way. I really had been seeking, and I'd come to a point in my tap dancing career where I felt that there was really nowhere else to go. I kind of done most things that I wanted to do, but really I kind of felt like it was dead end, you know, and I was really seeking. The other thing about this professional dance world at the time, again, is that, you know, what were we doing for entertainment and fun outside of dancing? We were just going to the bars, drinking, you know, using substances. And it really was not a very healthy lifestyle. I was really done with that. And, you know, I'm sure that's why I attracted ecstatic dance to me, because I was ready for it. You know, I was ready for something that was spiritual, something that was life affirming, something that was healthy, something that was sustainable, something that I could keep doing, and I didn't have to be perfect at it. In fact, it didn't even matter how good I was or not. It was just more about how I felt inside. It felt very spiritual to me. I'd always been a very natural spiritualist throughout my whole life. So really there was only one option for me at this point. I had to end my tap dance career. So I wrapped up my tap dance career. I moved from Fort Worth back to Houston, to where my father lived with my young son at the time. And I just committed to unlearning everything I knew and starting over, because this was what was fulfilling to my soul. Yeah, I mean, I was scared. Like that whole first dance, that ecstatic dance, it scared the crap out of me, because it was a whole new world, you know. But that was the wake-up call I needed. And my soul was like, yay, 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 yes, yes, yes. So I had to follow it. So I started training with the Austin Body Choir group and learning about facilitation, about making the music, and going to study with Corolla and Oscar of Austin Body Choir, probably around 2002. And by 2003, I opened up my dance in Houston, Texas. And, you know, since that day that we opened, well, before then, you know, this whole time has been, this is 2019, so it's been a long time. We've spent hours and hours and days and years really studying and refining what you know we were initially taught, to see how we could make it a deeper experience, a more transformational experience, a more natural experience, and a very effective experience for any age person, you know. And I think we've accomplished it. So that is why I can be here today to share this. But yeah, so over all of these years, I did take the training. I still have my ecstatic dance teacher, Oscar. He and I are still training together, even now. We just met a couple of days ago. We're about to do a series of videos, and just sharing his wisdom. He's a very brilliant and beautiful person, definitely a dance shaman. And so that's going to be fun. Yeah, so we're still working together to figure out what is this that we're doing. But anyway, that's what it's all about, the evolution. You know, how can we take something from our past that worked really well, bring it to our present day, and have it work even better, and then open a path for it to work even better in our future. And that's what we're excited about. So every little single detail about running a dance is what I've been involved with for at least the past, well, since 2003. And, you know, that's just organizing, recruiting, help, marketing, promoting, graphic design. I mean, I would not say I am, you know, I have perfected any of those by far, but, you know, I've been willing to commit to doing my best. I eventually started training my own local facilitators in Houston, and probably around 2007. And so that's been a great learning experience too. And training facilitators in facilitation, holding and creating sacred space, very, very, very sacred space. And yeah, my favorite part about this whole thing was discovering and experimenting with our own music structure, ecstatic music structure that we developed for Ecstatic Dance Evolution. That has been really fulfilling and exciting for me, and that's really why I'm excited to share here with you, because that's what we're talking about, music. And beyond music and the whole dance, really the most important thing that I've learned in all of my studies to really refine our music, but all of my studies, is that it's very important to bring the past into the present. You know, it's very respectful. People have done years and years and years and, you know, lifetimes of work that have supported what we're doing, and those are very important to me. So I do definitely respect the you know, the origins of where we started. I want to bring those into what we're doing in our current day dance and keep them with us. You know, let's keep everything that worked and let's use it into our future. So I really hope to be able to do this with my highest integrity, authenticity, responsibility, which is why I'm here, which is why I really feel called to creating these trainings and sharing, because I feel it is a responsibility. If I know something, I need to share it. So, and our goal is to bring enriching, you know, to bring more joy to more people's lives and more transformation, because we really need it. I mean, I need it. I know everyone I know needs it. And yeah, that's our purpose. Another reason also is that ecstatic dance has not been very well documented. And yeah, so here I am doing my best to share what I know and document what I know and what I've learned. You know, it does have beautiful origins and history and very rich philosophy and functional structures and time-tested practices. And this goes for hosting dances, for facilitating dances, and, you know, last but not least, the creation and curation of ecstatic music sets, which everyone definitely benefits from. And, you know, that was the very first thing that I totally noticed. When I started my dance back in 2003, it became quickly evident that the structure of the music and the flow of the music was extremely important, not only to keep all of the dancers on the dance floor, but in addition to that, to give them a very valuable and uplifting, you know, transformational experience. Because that's kind of what I had experienced, and I stuck with that quality. Like, I want to bring these life-blowing, mind-blowing experiences to people so we can feel better, we can be happier, we can learn to love ourselves, we can get to know ourselves. I think that's one of the things that has really impressed upon me over the years, is that if you have a good musical flow that really does create a journey and give people the opportunity to get to explore who they are, you know, to get them to know themselves on a much deeper level, you know, that is the epic experience that I love so much and have had so much of through this dance. So yeah, when I started, actually way back then in 2003 and 4, Well, right around that time anyway, ecstatic dance was not called ecstatic dance. I mean, we knew that it was ecstatic dance, but it had other names. And so really, when Austin Body Choir started, they had emerged out of a very, rich personal growth dance practice created by Gabrielle Roth. And her dances were created on these beautiful 5 rhythms that she intuited. She tuned into the nature of dance and music and saw there are basically 5 rhythms, that the body does different movements to these different rhythms. And this was brilliant. I mean, I think this is one of the most brilliant things that has ever happened to dance. In general, as far as personal growth goes. And she was a brilliant inventor and creator. But in the 90s, she released some videos, and you should go check them out and buy them, in fact, called her Ecstatic Waves. And so these waves are based on the 5 rhythms. And I think later it became the name of her dance, one of the names of her dance became Sweat Your Prayers. So that's where Body Choir got its roots from. And they were actually dancing in Houston with Rosa Glenn Riley, who now owns the Spectrum Center in Houston. But Rosa had started to Sweat Your Prayers in Houston, and Gabrielle Roth loved the name and eventually started using the name for her dances. And some of the Houston dancers, Corolla and some of her friends, they moved to Austin, and they opened Austin Body Choir. So Body Choir was the name of it. So yeah, we weren't even, calling dances Ecstatic Dance city name or anything like that back then. So that's where my dance also, when we started, we had our roots in what Body Choir was doing. So that was the 5 rhythms. And so I started taking 5 rhythms classes, learning more about it. And I never got to meet Gabrielle Roth in person myself, unfortunately, but I have studied with a lot of her teachers. And I highly recommend taking 5 rhythms classes, because what they're teaching is really profound. It's getting to know yourself and your body, and what kinds of things are going on in your body that we can learn from our bodies. So I mean, it's a profound practice. It typically has some language and guidance throughout the dance. That's why I didn't go that route, because I loved the free form, no talking, no guidance, no real instructor in the ecstatic dances of Body Choir, because then we get to learn from ourselves. Then we get to have our own experience, and that's what I really loved, of course. But at this time, I was a practicing yogi, and I was learning about the Vedic chakra system, the chakra system of our bodies. And one thing that I quickly put together was that within the chakra system, I saw that the 5 rhythms just fit into 5 of the chakras, the 7 chakra system. And so I was like, wow, that makes sense, because she tuned into what was, something natural that exists in music, that exists in our bodies, different kinds of movements, different kinds of sounds. And it totally made sense to me that the 5 rhythms would be 5 of the chakras. And so just with my curious mind, I was fascinated with this. Well, because, one thing, I was in love with yoga. I also wanted to really understand the natural world and my body and all of this. So yeah, this was my first idea that possibly we could use the chakra system as our music map. And I think it was a brilliant idea, because we're still doing it and it works great. So, but anyway, so back then it was like, okay, we're starting our dance. using the 5 rhythms to select our music, you know, first song, second song, third song, and all of this. And my frustration was, you know, within her 5 rhythms, so there's flow, staccato, chaos, lyrical, and stillness. Within her flow section, there are so many different kinds of songs that you could play. And, you know, finding the right songs to put next. Of course, you know, we want to increase the BPMs and increase the instrumentation and all this. But there's just like, if you're just going to use 5 ratings, like this is a flow song, this is a staccato song, this is a chaos song, it still leaves you with like a massive amount of choices. And like, how can you more easily find the songs that you're looking for, or quickly find the songs that you're looking for, you know, even within those sections. And then there's, you know, this whole other aspect of, is it ascending or is it descending? Very subtle listening skills involved in all of this. And so anyway, I was so excited. So like for the next, whatever, however many years, I was just doing trial and error. So it's like, okay, here's the chakra system. Here's what we know about it right now. Here's the 5 rhythms. How can we fit, you know, some of these other chakras into this 5 rhythms flow? Because we know that 5 rhythms flow works. It's brilliant. And we just wanted to expand on that, you know, and see if we could create something that was, you know, for one, provide a little bit more efficiency in creating a music set. You know, that's a big time saver. But 2, you know, really get to go into maybe even a more spiritual experience, or a more full-bodied, you know, experience for the dancers, if we were actually able to use the chakra system and do, you know, what is natural to most of the bodies, you know, most of the time. But that was not an easy task. It was not easy because, you know, at some point I had a team of facilitators, a team of DJs, that we were all working on this chakra smart rating system, is what we call it now. But, you know, just imagine a bunch of different people with different ideas in the same room talking about the chakras. Like, most people don't even know about the chakras at that time, you know, where I was at anyway. And I only, you know, knew the basics also. You know, we're like talking about the chakras and debating, and like root chakra, for example, you know, you think, oh yeah, heavy drum beats, you know, boom, 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 boom. Well, yes, that is root chakra, but how could you put root chakra at the beginning of the dance? Oh, by using like some of the feelings that the root chakra would create, like, oh, stability, foundation, safety, being comfortable, feeling welcomed, feeling invited, being with your tribe. You know, so there's that. And then there's also this other true reality. Yes, okay, well, a loud drum song would also be root chakra. So then we're like, okay, well, we found that it was the same way with every single chakra. There was so much variety in each one of them, just like there had been in each 5 rhythms, you know, that we just had to spend a lot of discussion time, debate. It wasn't always pretty, you know, going through like, how are we going to make this work, you know? But anyway, it was fun. But this did drive me crazy, and it led me to do more research. And so I started taking trainings in other conscious dance modalities to see, like, okay, well, let me learn how soul motion imagines the music, and how Nia imagines the music for dance, you know, and how Journey Dance does their music for dance, because maybe they had one of the keys that I was looking for. So yeah, I took with Ben Marti's soul motion in his leadership training class, and Nia, I got my white belt. And Journey Dance, I just love Tony so much. She's doing amazing things. I love Journey Dance. So yeah, I did get some insight on how they, you know, interpret their music for dance, but it wasn't what I was looking for. So, but then I think I had my real breakthrough in researching more deeply into spiritual practices and spiritual traditions. And so as I was studying my yoga with my yoga teacher, I started asking about dance and music, you know, for dance. And I was led to research one of the oldest documented form of dance, devotional dance in the Vedas, called Bharatanatyam. So I learned a lot about this ancient dance form. There's something in Bharatanatyam that is called the Bhava and Rasa aesthetic. So the whole Indian like artistic, theatrical, and dance systems, like maybe 200 or 300 years or thousands of years BC, had laid this out very strategically. And the Rasa aesthetic is a very interesting aesthetic. In fact, I'll be talking a little bit more in depth about it later, but let's just say that there's 9 emotions in the Rasa aesthetics that go with like things that humans can experience. And so when I just learned that little piece, I realized like, oh, by that time we were using 9 chakras. We were using the 7 major and then 1 below and 1 above. So those would be like the stillnesses. But I did realize that in our chakra smart music rating system, we are touching on as many different emotions as possible, you know, to get our human being to express throughout one dance. And so that just totally blew my mind. It really helped me feel like I was on the right track, you know. I also found very other relevant correlations when I was in study with the mystical Judaism class on the energetic functions. Some of you have taken my 9 energetic functions dance class. So that also very easily correlates to 9 of the different functions that we are playing in a role. Different roles in our dance as well. And those things stem from like the environment of the music and the energy that it builds in our bodies and the expression that it produces out into the room and to others. So that was a validation. The 5 elements of nature, I realized that the earth, water, fire, air, and ether, they're right there in, you know, in even even in the 5 rhythms. So there's the 5 elements, but definitely in the whole Chakra Smart rating system, it's there. But the real icing on the cake, the thing that sort of finalized my, well, I wouldn't say finalized, but finalized it to the point where it's at with the music rating system, is learning about functional exercise philosophy. And this really surprised me, but I was so glad that I got this information, because it talks about the timing that you need when you exercise to have your heart rate up high or when to bring it down, you know. So there's a whole timing sequence. And actually I was kind of stuck in our Chakras Smart playlist rating system in the heart area, because you know, there's so many choices, but what I wanted to do really was slow down in the heart area. That's what made sense to me. And so the functional exercise philosophy validated that, okay, well, I've already gone through a certain amount of time in you know, high aerobic activity, and now it's time to rest a little bit, and then we'll do it again. So that was beautiful. I loved all the synchronicities, you know, that came my way throughout this time. So I was continually finding hope and inspiration to continue working on the system, and the correlations that were made were very complementary to what we were doing. And by that time, our dances really had developed this very natural, intuitive, and very quite spiritual feel to them, you know, and our dancers were reporting life-changing results every dance. So this was yeah, this is what we wanted, you know. It's what we loved, and it's what we grew to really, really love and want to keep doing. So by this time, it was around 2014, and so we really started to trust our Chakra Smart music rating system, and our dancers loved it, and our dance was thriving. And I had the realization, like, you know what, I bet we could share these dances anywhere around the world, and I bet they would work really well for most of the people most of the time, you know, which is our goal. And so I began talking about this, looking into learning how I can share what we do, and had to take a 1-year business class and learn about business and marketing, and try and figure out how, you know, what we had to offer and how we could divide it up and offer it. And, you know, it's still not perfect, but but now we're just doing the best we can, and it's pretty clear. I think it's gotten really clear. It's more clear than ever before. So anyway, the dance, the online trainings have been going really well for a few years, and I'm excited to start this DJ training, and I'm excited for you to be here, because I really want more music curators to come into this teaching and understand this instinctual, intuitive structure that has already been laid out, you know, thousands of years back through our chakra system. And by choosing which aspects that we want to present in the artistic direction of our outcome, we can change many people's lives for the better. And that's why I'm glad you're here. So let's make way more great DJs and share the love. So that's where I'm at now, focusing on training, excited to work with you, and that's basically my overview. So who I am, my little sliver of my journey to Eden, and so we'll see where it goes. That's about it for now. Until I see you in the next class, enjoy. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I look forward to working with you soon. Bye.